Do you ever wonder how great leaders in the community make things happen? When they encounter new, unexpected challenges like a pandemic, how do they continue to successfully make an impact? Welcome to That Sounds Terrific, the podcast that connects you with these amazing people. Get insights on what they do to meet their goals, find out how you can help them in their mission, and learn their methods so you can be more successful at what you do. Welcome to That Sounds Terrific with host Nick Koziel.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of That Sounds Terrific. I'm your host, Nick Koziel, and joining me today is Verikas. She is the co-founder of the Bristol Bazaar, as well as the Dusty Dude Woodworks with her husband, Eric. Welcome to the show, Kara.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Well, we're super excited to have you here because it sounds like there's a lot of fun things happening out in like Bristol, Connecticut, right? That's kind of where you are.
Yes.
So hence the Bristol Bazaar, Nick. Okay, cool. So can you just start off, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of, where you're from, like what you do, and we'll kind of get this show on the road.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually grew up in Connecticut in Cheshire, so not far from Bristol, but I went up to school in Burlington, Vermont at Champlain College, and I ended up staying there another 4 or 5 years after school. So big Burlington heart. But there I studied marketing, so PR, event management, all things that I love. And my husband actually also grew up in Connecticut, and he ended up traveling. He was in Boston for a bit. He was in Florida. He was doing all sorts of things, but he really landed and fell in love with woodworking when he came back to Connecticut and when we met through online dating. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. We love having our businesses here in Bristol, and I'm trying to think what else. When we're not working, we're traveling. So we just got back from a 2-week and a day, I think, little excursion. So we went out to Colorado to go see family, and then to Florida to see family. We love hiking, and what else? We have 5 fur babies.
Awesome.
So that's kind of like our
fur
life in a
babies.
nutshell.
We have a lot of animals too. Are they all dogs? Are they cats? Are they combination?
Combo. So we have 2 dogs and 3 cats. So Dusty Dude Woodworks is actually named after our oldest dog, Oreo. So he is big and fluffy and used to come when we first started, when like roll around in the sawdust in our first shop. And we always call him Dude. I don't know if you have like a million names for any of your pets, but we tend to have like a lot of names. And so we knew that we wanted Dusty Dude to be named after him. And we were at a bar and just brainstorming. I don't even know how many beers we probably had. And we were like, Dusty Dude Woodworks. And it just kind of stuck. So, but yeah, he's our oldest fur baby.
That's awesome. And some of the best decisions and worst decisions have come over beer. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that sounds like a really great one. Yes, we do have a lot of nicknames for our fur babies in our family too. And we have 2 dogs, 2 cats, a pig, chinchilla, a bunny, guinea pig. What else do we have? I feel like we're missing something. We have too many animals. But we have a pet pig named Pudge. That's usually the one that everyone really kind of zeroes in on. And he was an in-house pig.
One of my dreams. Eric keeps saying no. He's like, when we have a farm. And I said, okay, that farm's gonna be coming awfully soon, because yes, I really would love a pet pig and some goats, and eventually.
Oh yeah. No, we don't have goats, and we don't have horses or anything like that, but we have the land for it.
That's great.
And the pig was indoor for a long time, and now we have him kind of in a barn and stuff because they are very, very smart.
How big is a he?
It's a he, yeah. Pudge is it's not that big. He's like kind of like a chubby, medium-sized dog.
Oh, okay.
So we have him. He was a mini, and he stayed pretty mini. Even though there's really, I guess there is no true mini breed if you read up on them, but yeah, sometimes they can get humongous. But he's great. He's very, very smart, and that was part of the reason why we kind of moved him out of the house, because like if you left him unattended for a second, he like got into everything. So stubborn. So but he loves it out there. We got some chickens and things too, but this isn't about me. I've made it too much about me. I talk too much. So I do want to hear more about the Dusty Dude and the Bazaar. So kind of take me through like how the bazaar kind of happened. The Dusty Dude sounds really cool too, so we'll swing back to that. But how did this bazaar happen?
Yeah, so the Bristol Bazaar came up, it was now years ago. It was pre-COVID time, which seems like a very long time ago. But we were traveling and we were out west, and we saw a similar concept. And it was an open space. There were makers that had booths. It was supporting local. There was a central register for people. And we're like, wow, this is really great, because we had our other small business. It was a side hustle at the time. And I was like, this is really cool. I've never seen anything like this. And so we kind of like brainstormed on it for months and months and months. And we were like, oh, it'd be so cool if what if there was a coffee shop? Like, I feel like there should be liquor, or there should be a cocktail, like there should be something. We're like, oh, like wouldn't it be cool if the makers that were there could hold classes to the public? Like those types of things that we just really loved. And their style out west was very boho, it was very clean, whereas we are very Northeast. We're very we love Las Vegas. And so when we were working on the design, we were thinking we spend a lot of time up in Boston, and we love the Boston Common and the feeling of if you're in Manhattan and you're walking through Central Park and you have all the the artists there that are selling their stuff. But we were like, okay, well, how do we bring that to a space? How do we make this concept? We had 80 ideas in our head. We obviously needed to pare it down. And so once we found an artist, and she is amazing. She's done all of our renderings for us. But she was able to truly make our vision come to life. And I'll have to show you the renderings if you haven't seen them already. And our mason, I was there yesterday, and he just finished our 2 patios outside. So he's doing all of our brick tile work in the space. And that's super important to the overall aesthetic. So when you first walk in, you're going to be walking on brick tiles. You're going to see a huge grassy area. So that's really turf. And then along all the walls it'll be a mix of murals and building facades. So if you've ever been to Las Vegas, where it's New York, or the Venetian, where you see all these faux buildings with sky above them, that's really the feeling that we're going for. So we'll have Juliet balconies, and we just want people to be like, wow, this is so unique. We're shopping and supporting local. And we also have a coffee cocktail lounge. Oh, and we could also come and take a class. So every time you come in, it's always a different experience. So it's really kind of where it started to kind of where it's gotten to right now.
That's really cool. It sounds like a mecca for all makers,
I hope so. I truly
Little Vegas for
so.
makers. You almost need slot machines somewhere in there, but that's a whole nother host of issues.
Yes, I know. We are talking about even just putting in an arcade game for people to go hang out and play while others are shopping.
That'd be kind of cool, and then maybe if you do a slot machine, it's more you win a gift card or something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So cool, but very cool. I love all the ideas. And when we first spoke off camera, a few weeks ago, it just sounded exciting. I was ready to move. I'm I'm gonna move out there, and and participate in this, because I'm the same way. A million ideas, and sometimes we got to kind of bring it back down to earth a little bit. But it sounds like you were able to squeeze so many of the ideas into the overall concept, which is very cool.
Yes.
So how do you I know it's not quite there yet, but how do you get in? What kind of makers are you looking for? Kind of give us the rundown on that.
Absolutely. So we are able to support up to 40 artisans in our space. So we've got about 5,800 square feet. Our makers have been and are still able to apply on our website, which is thebristolbazaar.com. And you go there. It is a super short and sweet application. We just want to get to know you, what type of products you have, confirming that they're all handmade. We can sell food, which is really exciting. It just has to be prepackaged, labeled with ingredients and allergy information. But we do have some folks that will be selling food products, which is really cool. It's not something that we thought we'd really venture into. But we also have, I'm trying to think of who we have confirmed already. We have some super honey. So they are an apothecary. They do super honeys with superfoods and stuff like that. We have some woodworkers. We have candle makers. We have people who are talking to us about selling dog treats, which of course, as a fur mom, I was like, sold. That's great. It'll be so
easy. Just got to keep the dogs out of that area.
We've got people who are going to sell tie-dye clothing. I mean, there's such a variety of makers that are out there, and things that, we've been in the maker world since 2017, and things that are popping up to us, we're like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. And yes, we want you, and we want to help grow your business. So yeah, but it's a super easy process. Sorry, I went down a little trail there.
It's okay.
So applying online, everything will come to us over here. We'll review everything. We'll get back to you, send you all the information in terms of the different ways you can vend with us. So we have 3 ways you can vend. You can either rent a table, you can have a vendor cart like you'd see up in Manhattan or Boston, where people are swinging like swag and stuff like that. Or we actually have 9x5 walk-in retail spaces, which excitingly, all of our retail spaces are booked for our first 3 months already. Awesome. We do have vendor carts and tables available, but those are like the hot commodity because they're super customizable, personalized. They're just really, really fun. Cool. Yeah, so I think that kind of covers that at a high level.
Oh, see, I was going to say, that sounds like a great place for me to set up camp, and then I could just live there for a little while. But now those spaces are out there. I could do it in a cart, but that might be weird. Kind of thinking about Monty Python, bring out your dead, and I'm laying on a cart. So, but that's awesome. No, I think that like having the variety there is so cool. And again, going back to that whole image of like, the different areas that you love and being able to make it alive and bring a little bit of Boston, a little bit of Vegas, a little bit of, everything to you. I think that that's really, really cool. And I just love the overall concept.
Thank you.
So go ahead.
I'd say it's just been a lot of fun, and I love telling people. So something I didn't mention before with makers is that we do ask for a minimum of a month, a month rental kind of essentially to vend with us. But there's a lot of perks to being with us. Our prices are super competitive compared to other markets that we've been researching. But what's included, so makers are not required or asked to be present to vend and sell their items. That is our job, and you are paying us to help you do that. We do offer a speaker series once a month, so makers will be able to attend this, very targeted makers series. So different topics from small business marketing to small business accounting, small business lawyers, all different ways for us to help you grow your business. And that's really our goal. Our goal is to obviously to help sell and grow your sales funnel for you, but it is also to help you grow in a way that, again, my husband and I wish we had when we were figuring out Dusty Dude. We're still figuring out Dusty Dude. Yeah. That's the truth. But that's our goal, is truly to help sell, but also to help grow, your side hustle to full hustle.
That's awesome. No, I think that's so great. And I don't know if that 1 month minimum was a nod towards me or what, but I probably can't swing it now. And you've crushed my dreams. So, but maybe in the future. My wife loves shopping in these things, and like her and her parents and stuff would go to like craft shows and makers markets kind of things. So I think this would be a nice excursion for us. So we might make it out there. Yes. And then never leave.
You just have some cocktails and take a class. It'll be like a whole day.
Yeah, you've got everything there. I mean, coffee and cocktails and maybe combined Irish coffee. I don't know. That'd be great.
Oh, very likely. The espresso martinis are pristine.
Very nice. So, like I said before, lots of great decisions and bad decisions have come over alcohol. No, but it's so cool. So like, how are you getting the word out? I mean, obviously you're on a podcast, but like, are there other partners that you want to talk about, or things that you're doing to try to get that word out there about the bazaar?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have gotten amazing press coverage. I do work with some folks down here in Connecticut who have been helping us spread the word through press releases. So we've had a couple news spots. We have another one we just found out last night is going to happen next week. So that's exciting. Doing stuff like this where I just get to talk to everybody, and I'm trying to think our TV ad is going live next week. So that is super exciting. I've always been on the back end doing those types of things for other businesses. So to do that for our own was really exciting. So that's going live next week. And everything else has really been social media. I'm really involved in the chambers down here. So the Central Connecticut Chamber of Commerce, it's like my big shout out. The city of Bristol and is my other shout out. So we are an ARPA funded business. So that's American Rescue Plan Act. And we're just so thankful to, again, the Central Connecticut Chamber for telling us that this could even be a possibility. It wouldn't be happening if I hadn't had that conversation with them. And the support that we've had from our Mayor Jeff, has just knocked our socks off. He's been supportive of our other business, but again, continues to show full support. Yeah, I mean, it's just been a lot of community love. Everybody seems to be very, very excited and curious, I think, too. So we're actually having a kickoff event for some of the city officials and some press on the 14th of December. Nice. And then we'll be having Makers open house. There's no exact date yet, just because we want to kind of move along in our renovations. But we're aiming for January at some time, so that Makers could come in, they could see the space, mostly done, talk through more questions and stuff like that at that time.
Cool. That sounds awesome. So it's always great to have people in your corner, and that networking happens, and you discover things like funding that you didn't know about, right? So that's why I'm telling everybody, just keep networking. Some people just network when they're looking for that job or that next thing, and then they stop,
Right.
But keeping up can open your world to some new things. So I think that's awesome. I think this concept is so cool, and not to like give away trade secrets or anything like that, but like, what are maybe some of the challenges that you had trying to build this thing out? So like that maybe somebody like, I don't know, way out in Minnesota somewhere far away from you can maybe, try this too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of challenges. I think the biggest challenge we had was just the overall like initial process of getting the grant funding. That's never something I've experienced or gone through until this. And I am so very grateful for the lessons that I've learned. And I'm still learning, like I said. And in terms of the actual build out, I think it's really just making sure that all of your vendors are in sync with one another. So that's been really huge for us. Again, since we are supporting small businesses, our goal is to utilize as many small businesses as we can to actually build the business, like physically. So having our mason from NMP Concrete, making sure that he's working with our contractor from J Brand & Co. to make sure that they're working with our electrician that we're going to hire, just making sure that nobody's stepping on each other's toes, but we're all kind of working together. You want to say seamlessly, but there are going to be hiccups. So that was my other big thing, is plan for hiccups. You don't know what they're going to be. And always over budget, like over budget or over plan for what you think something's going to cost. Like if you think your flooring is going to cost $15,000, plan for 30. Yeah. You just don't know. And then if you have that extra, it's just icing. It's great.
I just love having an extra $15,000 lying around,
right?
Because that happens.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah.
Including our fur babies, we also have 4 kids, so like we do not usually have surplus cash. So no, but they're great. Everybody's great. So we're very happy. It's just not $15,000. It's like laying around happy. So but I think that's a very good lesson for everybody. Just in general, when you're approaching a project, even on your home, a lot of people like saw with the pandemic and things that were happening there all of a sudden, and now we have like, costs way up, like a lot of shortages. So you can't get certain things. So like that, regular marble that you were going to put in is now like replaced with Italian marble, whatever the difference is. I have no idea. But I know it costs more. So, probably because it just comes from Italy. I don't know why we're stealing all our marble from Italy, but I think that's a very important lesson to teach people, and for people to think about. So thank you for those tips. What were some of maybe the unintended or maybe nice surprises like in this process?
Nice surprise. That's a great question.
I stumped you already.
I would say, kind of circling back to working with small businesses to actually build our business. It's not a real word, the excitedness
That's okay.
Of our vendors for the project, that for building the Bristol Bazaar, has been just echoed throughout with every single person. So again, I bring up our mason. I just met with him yesterday, and he is so excited to start just the floors inside. He was, spray painting the floor, showing me pattern designs, and he's just been super communicative, which I appreciate because I'm an over communicator probably. But that I feel through with like working with our turf people and working with a local artist who does faux live walls. And she has been working through, all these hurdles with us because we didn't know, again, lesson learned, always work with your fire marshal before you start buying things, because we were talking through them with the city about our plans. And he was like, well, you have to make sure that, this is fire code regulated X and XY, and all of that means nothing to me. So I brought my vendor in and I was like, please, like, you guys talk, because I am not the specialist. I don't want to pretend to be. But I think that for me has been like the biggest, most positive surprise is how excited all of the people are that are like, we've hired, like they're just kind of radiating like we are, which kind of shows us that, we're doing the right thing and we've chosen the right people. And, it's just like the energy is in the air.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that great when you guys, like I say, in general, you all come up with an idea, and then all of a sudden there's this great group of people around it that are like super excited too. And then people like me, they're like, oh man, I wish I thought of that. So I think that's so awesome. I do want to circle back to the Dusty Dude and talk a little bit about like, the things that you make, and like, tell us more about the Dusty Dude.
So Dusty Dude Woodworks is our first child. So we've been doing this since 2017. Started off as a side hustle, going to craft shows, which we still do. But we started off doing cornhole sets, cutting boards, coasters, so, small things that were easy to ship and stuff like that. And it was funny because when Eric and I first met, we had two very different types of work days. So I was very corporate marketing and he was an architectural woodworker. So we would get home and he would be like, oh, today I built this screen porch and I was working on these corbels. I was like, wow, that's so amazing. Can I see pictures? I had no idea what any of it meant. And he was like, well, what was your day? And I was like, well, I pulled this really great data and I did, an A/B test and it did really well. And he was like, cool. I don't know what any of that means. You can't show me pictures. So we very quickly, we had so much other great stuff in common. We were like, we need something else to talk about at the dinner table. And so he's like, well, I'm making these cornhole sets. I was like, a corn what? Like, I don't know what that means. Like, is that furniture? Like, what are you making? And he showed it to me in his friend's basement where his little shop was at the time. And I was like, oh, I was like, I bet I could build a brand around this and we could just do it together on the weekends and at night. Like, it gives us something, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. We spent that whole summer building up our brand. His good friend, who is a shoe designer, I think now, made our logos for free.
So cool.
And we're still so very grateful for that. And it just grew and it grew and it grew. We grew from his friend's basement to my in-laws' basement to what is now our detached garage, which is one of the reasons why we bought our house. And we invested thousands of dollars into the electrical because he would run two machines at the same time and our toaster would pop. And I was like, oh no, I was like, we can't have this happening. And so we invested.
You need your toast.
Right. During COVID, I needed my toast. And so, but then during COVID, for real, it just exploded. We were like, let's just give it one more shot and we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And it went. And so I was still working full time, and he was able to leave his full-time job. And that was October of 2020. And then we moved into our shop here quickly after, which is about 1,500 square feet. And then I left my job, which was terrifying, that summer. And we had started doing an order for 400 cutting boards a month, which allowed us to have me come in, and I worked in the shop. I mean, we worked all day, and probably until 2 or 3 in the morning. Some nights we would kind of just like lay on the shop floor. We'd be like, I just need a 10-minute break. And we'd shut the machines off, and we would just lay there for a few, and then we'd be like, all right, we got to go. But doing that taught me so much, because I'm someone who is usually out networking or putting ads together. Like, I am that kind of person. I'm not usually a shop machine, build things with my hands kind of gal. And I'm so grateful, because now I understand so much about why we have the machines we have, what needed an upgrade, and why we have dust collection. I was like, when we were in the garage, he kept saying, I need dust collection. I was like, no. I was like, you're fine. It's fine. And now we empty out our bags and we donate ours to locals who use it, likely for like their fur babies.
Yep.
But I understand. And I lost a small piece of my finger.
Oh boy.
A couple days before our honeymoon, working on these boards. And again, I just understood the respect you need to have for the machine. And so it really helps me market what we do. So it kind of lands to like where we are now. And now we have our showroom and gift shop. So we support up to 15 artisans in our space here at any given time. So those products range from candles to clothes to crystals, home decor, all sorts of things. But we also showcase our furniture in here, which is our big focus now. So we do a lot of custom work. I'd say about 95% of our workflow is all customs, like built-ins, mantles, dining room tables, end tables, that sort of stuff. So we are busy. We're about 6 months booked at any given time, because it is just my husband working in the shop.
Sure.
We're hoping that we'll be able to hire in 2023. That would be like a huge step for us. And we're in the process of building and hopefully getting ready to launch our first ever furniture line in 2023, which will be really, really great.
That sounds so cool. And well, that sounds terrific, I should say, right? I think that's awesome. And, it was funny when you were saying like where you guys started out was like a friend's basement, and then an in-law's basement. And then we moved into, I'm like, your own basement? I'm like, you really need this bazaar so you have space. So I just thought that was great. I definitely, all the things that you're talking about is just so cool to hear the success and how it's happened over time, and how hard work and a little bit of a finger loss has really made you successful. And I think that's awesome that you have a furniture line coming out.
Thank you.
So again, same kind of question, like what suggestions would you have for guests that are looking to start their own, like, side hustle and make it their main hustle?
Yeah, for sure. So I always say, go for it. Go for it with, in parentheses, be thoughtful. So we dreamt for years about being full-time. We had the many Sunday coffee conversations. We were like, can you imagine if, or what if? And those turned into, okay, when? And this is, when this happens, this is how we can react. So always, if you have a dream, I'm a huge believer, go for it. Just be thoughtful about it. Don't jump in with 2 feet, maybe put your big toe in first and kind of see how you like it. And again, that's kind of where that bazaar aspect came from, is that we wish we had that to try and see if being, full-time was that right step for us. Other things. So topic you already brought up is network. I'm a big people person. So for me, it's very natural. I love going to all my chamber events, and they're like family to me. Chambers and even online networking, all of it is great. And you will get back what you put in 20-fold. It may not be immediate. It might be immediate. I have conversations coming back to us from 12 months, 16 months ago. People are like, oh yeah, I saw you, at XY holiday event. And now it's time, like I'm ready. And they think of us, and it's so awesome. So when you're networking, I guess my other thing is you are there to tell people what you do and what you offer, but just be a human. People will work with you. They want to learn, but they want to get to know you as a person. And you are, affiliated with your brand. So those would be some of the things that have really helped us get to where we are. And social media, to be like totally transparent. I think to date, have probably spent less than $1,000 on advertising for Dusty Dude. And here we are. So, I mean, it's not to say that paid media isn't great, because we're utilizing it for our other business, but there are ways to do it, and it might take you a little bit longer, but don't think you need to have thousands upon thousands of dollars to make your dream come true.
Yeah, no, I have had little side hustles in social media, and that's a big point that I like to make with them for sure. And start small. Like there's too many people that don't understand social media that says, I want all the things. I want to be TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, that tweeter thing, So, I totally think that was all super great advice. The networking, and then the dreamers, right? There's so many people that just dream their entire life and never try to make it come true. And then there are others that are such big dreamers that always try to make it come true and then jump right into that lake, or,
Yes.
Me, I tend to try to put the big toe in and then fall in somehow. So, there's different types of people, and I think what you shared can really touch each and every one of them with ideas of how to kind of move forward and do things. So, Kara, I think this is the part of the episode where I'm gonna ask that other stumper question that I may have warned you about, but I don't know if I did or not. So it's really, is there anything that I haven't asked that you definitely want to share? And then while you're thinking about the answer to that, let's ask a couple other quick personal kind of fun questions.
Yes.
So you talked a little bit about travel. What's your absolute favorite travel destination?
To date, I would have to say Ireland has been my favorite.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yes,
I want to get
I've
there at some point. That's so cool. Yeah. So awesome. And okay. So, what is your favorite wood project that you worked on at the Dusty Dude that you completed?
Oh yeah. So I would have to say, as much as it literally hurt my finger, being able to build those cutting boards essentially from start to finish. Eric did help with the bandsaw, because I'm rough with a bandsaw. It's just no good for anybody. I think I counted one time, I think it was 25 steps, because we made them all by hand, to go through that process, from picking the lumber to gluing it up to, sanding, oiling, everything. I value that project and that process so much, because now I can walk out into the shop and be like, oh, you're building this table. Are you using biscuits, or what type of joinery are you using? And I can say that and not feel like I'm, impersonating somebody. It's because I've experienced it. So I definitely think those are my favorite.
Very, very nice. And what's a piece of advice that maybe you live by, or that you love to think about and utilize?
So as a small business owner, I have received this advice and I have given this advice, even with family members. So to any family who's listening, take every day and really focus on your tasks, minute by minute, hour by hour. I have lists upon lists, because I'm a brain dumper. So even when Eric and I are at the dog park, we'll be talking into our phones, because we'll be walking, but we'll be brainstorming just naturally. And that's when all of our good ideas come, is either at the bar or at the dog park. But with that, like, you have this enormous list of things, and it's super daunting as a small business owner because you're not necessarily delegating to a staff of people. It's to yourself or to your partner or to whomever you're working with, or maybe it's just you. And so that's my advice. Look at your day, take it task by task, not 80 tasks at a time with your millions of tabs, which I also do. And that way you're focused and you're getting work done and you're not overwhelmed. So that would be my advice.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that's great. And the other thing that just popped in my head, I think you thought of another idea while you were talking. It's the dog park part of the bazaar. All the fur babies can come.
We have talked about doing like a doggy daycare at some point as another entity and just in general, because we would love that. I wish we could have fur babies in the bazaar, because then we would have ours there all the time.
Yeah. No, it's just, it dawned on me because I was in Pittsburgh with a friend a few weeks back, and there was a lot of dogs in the breweries, which, I mean, they're kind of doing that everywhere now, but like much more than I had seen in the past. And like, that's kind of a neat idea. So again, combining alcohol and dogs, I don't know, best idea all the time, but whatever.
I love it.
So I think that's terrific. And so, Kara, can we circle back to that other question? So is there anything else that you want to like tell our audience that we haven't asked about or shared?
I think for the Dusty Dude side of things, if anybody is looking for holiday items, just to check out our website, which is Dusty Dude Woodworks with an S.com, or follow us on social media. That would be the big thing. And for the Bristol Bazaar, if you're curious, just check out our website, which is the Bristol Bazaar, BAZAAR.com. There you'll find tons of really great information. We send out a monthly newsletter. You'll see all the local businesses we're working with, and we're starting to solidify our actual maker, like vendor partnerships. So we'll be announcing those very soon.
Very cool.
But I think other than that, just I appreciate you guys being here and listening.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on the show. You've been a terrific guest, Kara. I'm your host, Nick Koziel, and this is That Sounds Terrific.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of That Sounds Terrific. Don't forget to check out the show notes and our website at thatsoundsterrific.com to find the contact information and the best ways to volunteer with the organizations that we feature. If you know someone that is doing terrific things and think they should be featured in a future episode, be sure to email us their name, contact info, and short description of what they're doing at thatsoundsterrific@gmail.com. If you like our show, give us a 5-star rating and give us some social media love by liking our Facebook page, That Sounds Terrific. Follow us on Twitter at Sounds Terrific 2 and Instagram at Sounds Terrific. We love hearing your feedback on how to make our show sound even more terrific. Till next time.